Hello, and welcome to the Focus on Teaching Conference 2022 Fireside Chat. I'm Kim Reed.
And I'm Kelly Fox. This year we thought we would do something a little different, but still keep with the fire theme. So we decided to do a show with hot questions and even hotter wings. A homage to one of our favorite YouTube sensations, Hot Ones with Sean Evans.
Evans hosts a late-night style interview show where he and his guests eat wings and chat. The catch is that the wings get hotter with each question. So who better to ask hot questions to than our retiring president, MaryLynn WestMoynes, and our incoming president, Kevin Weaver.
We hope you enjoy Georgian Hot Ones, brought to you by the TLC.
Welcome to Hot Ones at TLC. We want to give a big thank you to Chef Nick and his team who have designed some custom hot sauces for us to try. So how are you two around hot sauce?
I'm good.
Mixed reactions. So we're asking you to try each one of the hot sauces that have been prepared, and then we will ask you some questions. As Kelly suggested, each wing will get progressively hotter, and so will the questions.
So a friend of ours always encourages us to challenge ourselves and to bend without breaking and to stretch without tearing. So we're going to lean into a little bit of pain today and hope that we can also embrace a little bit of discomfort and maybe work through some of it and through the questions. I have to say that I don't do so well with hot stuff. So I am very nervous. Not my favorite thing. Anything spicy scares me. But my partner in crime here, Kim, said it would be a lot of fun. So I agreed and we thought we'd go for it. So we probably are more suited for podcasting. We kind of had a better thought on that. So this format is a little different for us as well. But we're going to give it a go. So thank you for joining us.
Great to be here.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to
Yes.
it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, so the first question is for Kevin, and I think what we should probably do is take a bite of our first wing, and then we will have the first question.
All right, I'm getting my napkin ready.
Yeah.
Cheers.
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 Very good. Well, this is very good. All right.
Oh, can we lick our fingers? Yes. Oh my. Well, that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Very good.
That falls in my range.
Yes. Okay, so that is our first wing prepared by Chef Nick and his team. And it's 8:52 a.m. and you can't find a parking spot, sweating through your Georgian golf shirt sauce. So one of the things we like to do is creep the folks we are interviewing and find some interesting pictures or something they have posted on social media. Kevin, your social media accounts are squeaky clean. No goofy photos, no awkward interactions, no rants, no outbursts, nothing. But we are hoping that as the spice goes up, your guard may come down a little and that you might give us a peek behind the curtain. So we'd love if you could tell us something crazy that you have done that people at Georgian would be surprised to know. Maybe something embarrassing, a funny story. Who is Kevin Weaver when he's not Georgian's incoming president?
Yeah, well, that's a great question to start off with. I have to say it's a tough one, but there is a reason that you can't find much. It's all, of course, intentional. And I had the benefit of going through post-secondary when social media wasn't a thing. So I'll put that out there. There's probably lots of stories, and I won't share too many of those today. Probably not appropriate for the audience, but I do like to have fun, and I have fun both at work, but I also have lots of fun outside of work. So, you know, I'm not so sure I have too many embarrassing stories, but I have two I will share, and they'll bookend. One was in my younger days, and one was very recently, and both involve my mother. Okay. And so, yeah, oh dear, because only mothers can embarrass their children so well. So one of them was in kindergarten, and I have a scar right between, just above my nose, between my eyes. And I got it in kindergarten because I was such a mama's boy that the teacher every so often had to call my mother to come to school because I missed her. And she came to school one day and I ran across the room I tripped. I hit the corner of a desk, stitches, and I still have that scar today. So little bit embarrassing, but it is who I am, and I have the scar. The more recent story, and I believe I shared the article, and a few people know this, but I'm pretty vulnerable here. I got to share this story. So Hanover Post, grew up in Hanover, small town, Grey County, not too far from Owen Sound. And the reporter reached out to me and said, I'd like to interview you. I got a hold of your parents, and I hope that's okay. They shared your number. I said, oh, that's absolutely fine. Didn't say any of the context as to why he was talking to me, other than he wanted to do an article, small town boy, going into the president of Georgian College. There's an international connection. And so I had a great chat with him. I thought he did a really good article. But he still didn't tell me the origin of that, and neither did my parents until about 2 weeks later. And my dad let it slip that it took them a while to track the reporter down at the Hanover Post. I think it's actually called the Post. It was the Hanover Post. To track the reporter down, and I did one of those, you did what? So I innocently thought that the Post had reached out because they wanted to do the story. And so anyway, I love my parents to death, but I had to share that story.
So proud they are.
Yeah, they're wonderful, and they're proud, and I love them for it. So those are just some embarrassing stories. In terms of crazy adventure, not many stories around that. Although people might be surprised. In my university days, I was a bouncer.
Okay.
And
nice.
So I was a bouncer at Wilfrid Laurier University. The pub is called The Turret.
Yep.
And I was a bouncer for 3 years there. And so I won't share the stories, but the things we had to deal with, particularly between the hours of 2 a.m. and about 4 a.m., were enough to last a lifetime. So I saw the full student life experience in that role. And so that's a little bit about me. Outside the college, I am who I am. I bring myself to work. I'm the same person at work as I am at home, but I try and leave work here when I'm also at home. And I love spending time with family and friends. I spend a lot of time at hockey arenas, and I am a sports junkie. My wife will attest to this. If there's a sport on, I'm watching it. From cricket to bowling to tennis to golf, hockey, soccer, football, you name it, Olympics. If there's a sport on, it's generally on the TV, and I watch it, and that's a little bit of who I am.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I am also a former Golden Hawk myself, and I remember climbing the stairs to the turret and the walk of shame, having to walk back down if the bouncer wouldn't let you in. So
That's right.
it's a very important story to me as well.
And what you may not have known, Kim, in the turret is the back freight elevator is where we had to escort individuals out who were no longer, beneficial to the social environment. And we would take them down the freight elevator. And so nobody ever saw that happen either. So just
I never took a ride in that elevator,
Yeah,
proud to say.
That's good. You're not going to let us know.
Really proud.
Yes. Now my mom has something to call the Hanover Post about as well.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. All right, so we go into the next one? Yes. All right, so let's jump into the next one. And as we're eating it, this one is titled Back-to-Back Classes in F&M Building. It's minus 24 out. Cold as ice hot sauce. That's what we've called this one.
That's
All right.
That's creative.
Can taste that little bit of a bite on that one.
That's good.
I really want to lick my fingers. This is like, I know. It's like two things. We're recording and I'm also with like a process. Oh, yeah. All right. All right, so MaryLynn, the next question is for you. Recently, the Minister of Colleges and Universities, Jill Dunlop, announced that colleges can now offer 3-year degrees, which will open so many opportunities for Georgian College and for our students. Since our inception in 1967, where we had 101 students enrolled in five programs in a modest storefront at the Wellington Plaza, Georgian has definitely grown with new buildings, new campuses, and connections and expansions internationally. I can imagine, MaryLynn, you're starting to reflect now on your 35 years in post-secondary education and thinking about how you're going to pass the baton to Kevin. It's a new chapter for Georgian's history for sure. So, what are some of the things you're thinking about? What are you hopeful for? What keeps you up at night? Well, we know the future is very difficult to predict. Where do you see the future of Georgian College? Or maybe what do you hope for the future of Georgian College?
Yeah, great question. And yeah, 1985. It originally thought it was a long way ago, but I'm starting to pack up some of the boxes in my offices, and I have. I came up in the paper world, so I have way too many boxes of things to deal with. But working on taking photos of articles I like, and then recycling the photo so that I don't lose track of that. And that's my first reflection. I really want to just underscore, how much has changed, but how much is also the same. So how we teach, the fundamentals are still the same. And really I go back to what's important. Get to know who your students are and find out what their aspirations and dreams are, and then help them get to the next level. If we can keep it that simple, if we can absolutely keep it that simple, it can keep us focused. Easy to say, really hard to do. I mean, I've told the story when I was first a prof. I had 10 days notice. I was teaching a child development course. It was, I was barely a week ahead of the students. The third test I handed out, where the class average was about 50% on the test, I realized, hey, they may not all be doing something wrong. I must be doing something wrong. And I think that's the same. And as I look forward, I hope that that's the kind of community that we continue to have, is that we have staff that are focused on where the students are, what their hopes and aspirations are. And you've heard me say it before, I think education is the greatest equalizer in life, and how do we empower people. So let's keep our roots in students, and learning are at the heart of all we do. And that's my biggest hope. How we do it, oh my God, I'm so excited about that. I mean, I'm so proud about Kevin and his leadership and the team that we've had. By the way, if people haven't heard, I'm delighted that Kevin is going to be the next president of this great college. He's smart. He's strategic. I don't want to make you blush.
Now you're going to embarrass me.
Can we get the Hanover Post on the phone, please?
And my husband's been waiting to say this to him in person, and he hasn't had a chance. But so I'm going to do it publicly to you now. The board even hired him, even though he's a crummy goalie. I mean, but there's such a digital opportunity for us, and but there's a huge learning curve, and it's steep, and we've got to make sure that we give people the opportunity to learn, both our faculty, support staff, and admin, and our students. So, but I think when you look back, what we're going to gain from the last, I'd say, 5 years in our existence is a realization that we can meet individual needs in a whole variety of different ways. It's going to take a while for us to adjust and get there. And you know this because you're leading the leadership development for faculty members. So you understand the wealth of opportunity that's there. And it's important that we invest in our teachers. That's the bottom line. We invest in our support staff who are going to support that work. So I think the world will be different, but I think it's going to be the same. And it has been since the ages. When you think back about teaching and learning, It's the greatest opportunity to work at a place like Georgian. I get goosebumps when I say it, and it's because of the way we care about our students. So lots of potential. There's going to be employers who are going to have different needs. There's going to be different ways of doing things. We're going to continue to have challenges. But if we stay true to who we are, and that is serving our communities, and the only way we can do that is through the people that work here, then I think we have nothing but a great future ahead of us under Kevin's leadership.
Very exciting. Lots to be excited about. Okay, so we're going to move on to wing number 3. And this is called grabbing a coffee at Tim's on your way to a meeting and the person in front of you orders a triple toasted bagel, hot and sweaty Sprint sauce.
Triple toast.
Oh my gosh. All right, these are getting hotter. These are getting hotter. Ugh. Oh yeah. We
I'm
have 2
feeling
more.
this one, and I'm looking at the color
Oh my
of
gosh.
the 5th sauce and really starting to get a little bit nervous now.
Oh yeah.
My son and brother own 5 St. Louis.
Oh yeah.
And one night we had a little wing challenge. I had to stop after the first 2. Yeah, this
Yeah.
one's got punch.
That one's got, it's good.
I'm not even wanting to lick those fingers. So I don't even need to worry about being
so
rude.
good.
Safe to say that Chef Nick understood the assignment here.
Absolutely nailed it. Because I'm curious about the next 2. I got to tell you.
I think the trick here is we need to be on alert, buddy.
Yeah, we do now. We do now.
Okay, so we're going to spice things up in the question department too. So we did some quick math using the calculators on our phones, of course, and discovered that between the 4 of us at this table, we have 88 collective years of experience working in post-secondary. So if you're like us, we imagine that you've experienced the full spectrum of emotional connection with your work, from blissfully fulfilled to woefully exhausted and everything in between. Teaching and the world of education is a labor of love. It's more than just transactional exchanges of information. It's creating culture. It's making space for collaboration. It's making the learning experience meaningful. It's helping students to see the big picture and what this information means to them outside of our classrooms. It's about helping students to become vocational experts, but also helping them to become prepared for life beyond our walls. Faculty, staff, and admin have been pouring even more of themselves than ever into the work they do here over the last 2 years. But some of us are feeling burnt out. We're not as emotionally present or available to our colleagues, and this can leave us feeling like we don't have any more to give. Kelly and I have talked a lot about filling our cups, and so I think some folks are feeling like their cups are very empty. So Kevin, as incoming president, what do you see as your role in supporting faculty? How can we get back to a place where we can be thriving instead of surviving?
Yeah, a great question, and some really good reflections on the importance of the work we do in the way you asked the question. That it has been a long couple of years, and there's no doubt about that. And as you said, that's admin, staff, and faculty have had to change the way that work is done. And you think of the core of our work, and MaryLynn touched on this. It's about people. We're a people organization. We will leverage digital innovation in a different way, but we are always and will be about people. And working with people is both satisfying and beneficial, but can also be quite exhausting. And in the past 2 years, in the way we've had to do it, we've lost, in many ways, we've lost some of that human connection and that social connection that I think helps fill our cup. I have to tell you, just sitting at this table eating wings with the 3 of you is filling my cup. It really is. I mean, I was sharing in a meeting this morning, I ran into 2 groups of tours yesterday on campus, and it just, of course, under my mask, but a big smile came to my face. It was just natural, because there is a prospective student. You can see even through their mask, the excitement, the nervousness, they're walking the halls. That's what we're about. And some of that was taken away from us. And so that is deflating. And so I think for us, a lot of it is, and we don't know yet what things will look like. We're certainly hopeful for more in-person experiences come September. And I think that alone is going to help. The ability to get back to a teaching and learning environment that we are more in control of. And I say the collective we, because faculty are able to teach in the environment in the way that is comfortable to them and to the curriculum, and students are able to learn in that same environment, and certainly staff and admin, again, more in person, supporting students and that effort. I think that will go a long way, getting back to hopefully a little bit more of predictability and planned delivery and student supports. And MaryLynn touched on, I'm really excited about where we're going with some of our digital innovation to support students, because part of it too is students are also in this environment. They don't necessarily know who to go to, where to go to. It's just not quite the same. And we're trying with all the tools that we have. I think as we move forward with our digital innovation, we're able to help students with a little bit more of the self-service tools to be able to find information that they need. I think they're going to be better equipped to ask also the right questions and get to the right people. And I think that will help. And I think it will also allow individuals, particularly faculty in the classroom, to get back to focusing on the teaching and learning environment, and not that plus all the other elements that are starting to impact our lives. And then you add on to that, we've had different students learning in different time zones. We have internet challenges and access to information at the same time. It's been a variety of things. So I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic about where we're going. But I also, and again, credit to MaryLynn, she hit on all these points, and you can see I have big shoes to fill, but I've also learned and observed one of the best. So I'm very fortunate. But we have to invest in our people, and we have to continue to provide professional development. We need to help people through the change that is occurring and may continue to occur, so that they feel that they have the tools, the knowledge, and the skills to be effective. We were talking a little bit just before we sat down to Wings, and we were talking about that when you go into the classroom, we all want to do 110%. We want to do our best job. And I was sharing my early days of teaching, and I knew early on that I had a lot of work to do. I was confident going in, and I left that first day, and wow, this is what have I done? What did I get myself into? And it was a journey. But you want to give 110%. You want to see your students succeed. And therefore, you want to be able to be in control of the environment around you, and to have that comfort and to be successful. And again, some of that's been taken away from us. So that also starts to wear on individuals. And so just before I conclude my answer, I have to give a big shout out to admin, staff, and faculty who, it is incredible to me that we have been able to continue teaching and learning for almost all of our programs. There was a couple intakes early on in 2020. We had to adjust. That's it. We have moved forward. We've kept students moving towards graduation. We've kept placements and co-ops. We've had to innovate. We've done things that we've never done before, but we've learned from that to the positive. And I think it's just remarkable. And so that gives me great hope. But I also know we can't sustain the uncertainty that we've been in for too much longer. And so part of that is through our thoughtful strategic plan, our digital innovation strategy, and our investment in people that will help us get to the other side of this.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Lots to unpack there,
I
and
think
my
we
mouth
should
is on
cheer
fire.
that we
Yes.
managed the last couple of years.
Yes.
Really.
Cheers.
I think that's pretty good
Cheers.
to everybody who contributed to that.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the innovation coming out has been fantastic. You know, and they say sometimes that we never would have had a push to do some of the stuff that
That's
we've been
right.
seeing and
COVID
doing.
catalyst.
COVID catalyst, absolutely. So it's been pretty amazing, and it's fun to have some new, fresh ideas.
Yes.
You know, to stay on the positive side of things as well. So yeah, it's been
Absolutely.
kind of fun.
And I was just, go ahead. Sorry, Mama.
No,
Go ahead.
please. I will, and then please jump in. I was just going to say, I've got to go to graduation for the faculty who go through the CTEL program, you know, it'll be my 10th year this year, and I'll be there. And I really want to underscore for people who are watching this, if they feel that they need something to be re-engaged, to re-inspire them, to get involved, link up with the center, because, you know, you connect, and when you connect with others, all of a sudden that burden that you're feeling about all the change that's going on, and sometimes it's simple, like teaching is not an art. I'm sorry. Teaching is hard work, thought, meticulous technique, a process. It becomes an art when you have the passion to, you know, really do the things that you want to do. So I interrupted, but I really wanted to give the plug that when I, you know, handed out a test and thought I was doing something wrong, I was lucky. I got dropped into, you know, a teacher training program, and it made the world a difference for me. So what were you going to say?
Yeah, well, great point. Well, I was also going to give a plug to CTEL. So I thank you for doing that, because I think it is really important. And that's part of that investment in people is as things change, we need to be vulnerable. We need to keep learning. And in some cases, I think what the pandemic has done is, and I'll just speak to my own personal work environment, it caused, I had to unlearn a little bit of my practice and my daily routine, because it was not the same anymore. And I had to wrestle with that and get to a comfort zone. And we know everyone's going through that at their own pace. And we also know we've had students and faculty and staff and admin on campus the entire pandemic minus 2 months, and they've had to adapt in an entirely different way. So yeah, I think reaching out to CTEL and to participate in the professional development and work with peers, peer learning and peer sharing is so critical, particularly in the profession of teaching and learning. So I wanted to say that. And I also know there'll be one person, and I won't call them out, but they'll be really disappointed because I haven't used the word pivot yet. So, yeah. So I had to say,
throw in unprecedented too. That would be great.
Yes, it was an unprecedented pivot, is what it was.
Thank you, Kevin.
Good call.
Thank you.
Good call. That could have been the name of one of the wings.
Oh, gosh, I never hear those words again, I tell you. Okay, are we ready for number 4? All right, my mouth is burning on number 3. I'm very afraid for number 4 already. All right, so this is email from HR. Your interview has been rescheduled for this morning. Not ready for the hot seat sauce.
This looks hot.
Oh,
The
smells
sauce
hot.
looks hot.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Oh goodness, dare I? Here goes.
Oh my gosh.
Incredibly tasty, but very hot.
It is.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I shared. I have cauliflower, by the way, you guys, and it's so good. Oh my gosh.
Can you do a sauce check on me?
Yeah.
I just licked my fingers. I'm sorry.
You're going to be in trouble with the hot sauce now. Oh my gosh. All right. Whew. Okay. That was a good one. All right.
I
Well,
forgot
let's,
about our finger bowls here. It's a good thing you're here for etiquette. Very good.
Oh.
Oh man.
All right. Well,
Oh.
the sauces are getting definitely hotter. Let's see if we got a hotter question. All right. So this one's for you, MaryLynn. All right. We know that adversity builds character, provides perspective, can promote self-efficacy, the belief and ability to overcome obstacles, and that there can be great growth in challenge and discomfort. We kind of talked a little bit about that already. We would venture to say that the last 2 years has been some of the most challenging and unpredictable years we have seen in our careers in education. Some of us have found our rhythm working from home. We've put down roots in our home workspaces. We've adjusted and adapted and have been productive in worlds entirely contained in our computer screens. But the data is suggesting that it may not be as easy as continuing from home. Some students need us on campus. Some folks feel more productive when they are sharing space and able to collaborate with others, like across the table. So We know that reintegration is going to be part of our future. So I guess the question is going to be for you, how and when? So as a leader, how do you see us getting there? Is it possible to create space where productivity and progress can exist in peaceful balance with the human side of teaching?
Yeah, wow, the big question, I think, of the day, whether you're in higher education or you're in manufacturing, or you're working for one of the major banks in downtown Toronto, or a law firm that have all these great big beautiful offices, and wondering about what's going to happen. So let's unpack it just a little bit, if I can. Students want more personal touch. And, I'll go back to, they've got to be the voice that we listen to. Also, we have to recognize, there are some hierarchy principles in learning, and we know our students do best with high touch, high integration, applied opportunities. So not only do they tell us, we know from a professional standpoint that that's what's best. And we've seen it. We've seen people achieve things that they never knew they were able to do because of the kind of environment we're able to create. So let's pack that one over here. We've had people who've been very comfortable coming to campus from day one. I'm going to restate that. We've had people who had to come to campus from day one and became comfortable about it, and have become big champions about, hey, all you guys working from home, come on, it's great here, it's safe, we're doing a good job protecting ourselves. And we have people that had to unlearn, as Kevin said, a way of doing things. And now it's been 2 years. I mean, science tells us that if you want to change an addiction or a habit, it's a year. And we've been at this for 2 years. So, the future, I really do believe, is that we've got to find a way to come back together. And I'm thinking that hot wing got to my brain, and I really want to know exactly what the question was again.
That was their plan all along.
That I know it was, and I thought it. So could you just read the last? Yes, you're both eligible for a raise. Right there. All right. So tell me again, what was the?
So maybe around like sort of that reintegration,
right?
And
Okay, good.
because there's going to be more than just us saying, here, I'm back to campus, right? So we have to, I guess, we have to think about how we're going to come back together.
Right.
And then also, I know a lot of people will look to leadership, of course, to show us or share with us some ideas, show us the way maybe, or, what is within boundaries, and, those sorts of things, I suppose.
Right. So, and thanks for that. I could feel myself going down a rabbit hole and feeling like a deja vu. Kevin already answered that question that I was going to answer. Okay, here's what you can count on. All right. We should worry about the students' integration first and foremost, because that will build our own comfort zone, and it will drive us to having to do that. So it's been a big motivator for me. I think the senior team will tell you that nobody was more disappointed than I was that January ended up being the January we had. Maybe because I'm retiring, and I was so looking to, I used to say to people, you want to get a real high? Come to a college the first week of September and see that look of promise on people's faces in the hall. Everybody's polished, everybody's happy. They've had a bit of a break sometime over the summer. So, let's focus on how we're going to help students be comfortable. That will create social engagement requirement for staff. So number one there. We've introduced a flex work model. More for support staff and admin in theory, because I actually think that we've had a flex work model for faculty for some time in the system. Although I'm going to caution about that in just a moment. So I think it's got to be gradual to some it will be new. It has to be new. It has to be different. But the requirement is going to have to be out there. And as soon as it's safe, I think leadership has to come out and say, it's safe enough, you've got to be here. We thought it was going to be safe enough in January, and we came out and said that. So, I've been proved wrong 3 times by COVID now. Well, maybe probably 10 times by COVID now. And I hope that builds trust in the senior leadership team, because we were listening to science and what the predictors were, and we were planning according to that. But when it became unsafe, we said, no, it's not going to work. We're not going to pivot. We're not going to redo. We're going to adjust. We're going to accommodate, and we're going to be agile. And so I hope that brings comfort for people. I also believe we're going to have to do like we need to do, and that is say students have to be first and foremost, and so you may have to move out of your comfort. So what can be done? Make sure the environment's safe. Make sure there are social engagement opportunities. Make sure that we are able to do virtual meetings and people can be in person or virtually when it's appropriate. But just like in the learning classroom, there are going to be some meetings where, darn it, you have to be there, because you know what? That's what society is about, this relationship piece of thing. As I said, I felt that faculty have had flex time for a while. I worry about it, and I'll tell you, because what happens is if you take your work home with you, it bleeds into your home life. And for the life of me, I can't find this article. If someone lays their hand on it, please send it to me. But there was a woman who wrote an article that said that she felt that things had gone out of control and balance in her life. And about 12 years ago, she started treating teaching like a 9-to-5 job. And she went to work at 9 o'clock and worked in her office till 5, and she did not bring things home. She didn't open the book until the next morning at 9. She did her teaching. She was diligent, and she said she had a whole resurgence of health and well-being. So there's the other coupling. That may not work for everybody, but having boundaries around what your job is has probably been the biggest burden and the most emotionally stressful thing for people who are working remotely. We know it, right? Because the noise of your house keeps calling you, or your family, or whatever. So recognizing it, helping people come up with their own kind of model. But I think at one point in time, it's incumbent upon leadership to say, this is our institution, as we did in the fall, and said, we're going to have, a practice in December because we're all going to be here in January singing Kumbaya together. But that day is coming again. It's going to have to come again. Don't you think? And creating the expectation, and then supporting people through the adjustment to whatever that new way of operating is going to be. Listen, we have services for folks. And in my career, in my 35 years working in higher education, I have used counseling services that were part of our benefit. I had a family situation going on. I never feel I need to apologize for that. I had a child who was having some difficulty, and it became overwhelming for me, and I reached out and I got help. If the transitions are creating difficulty for people, then we need to encourage they get help. David Coward says self-care is not selfish. It's a great model. So there's the next coupling. And then I think I'll just end by going back to the final one. I think when people get back to being with students a little bit more, their comfort zone will change, and that will build a sense of calm for them, because it's when you see that aha moment in a student that really makes a huge difference. So would you add to that?
Yeah, I just want to add to the flex piece that you talked about. I think that's going to be part of our challenge, and I think this is across, as you said, multiple industries. It's we have to get comfortable with the flex part of this, just like we're moving GC Flex. And what students have told us throughout is the one benefit that they have felt from a learning environment. They want the high touch, they want in person, no question. But students have also said this ability to be a little bit more flexible has worked for them, because when they're not feeling well, they can still participate. When they might have a sick child at home, they can participate. If they have to work because that's how they provide for their education and perhaps their family, they can navigate that. So I think flexibility on the learning, but also in the work environment. I think we have to be comfortable that if 4 of us were here and somebody was joining us virtually, that they're not the fifth wheel. They're not in a back seat to the meeting. They're engaged in the meeting. And I think that's I know as soon as I say it, and I've thought a lot about it, it's easier said than done. It 100% is. And it's going to take us time, because you remember, some of us were reminiscing in the pre-pandemic days when someone might call into the meeting and they were on the phone pod right in the middle of the table. And then inevitably after an hour and a half, somebody says, "Oh, by the way, Kelly, are you still there? Did you have anything to add?" Right? And that wasn't that long ago, right? Just 2.5 years ago. And now what we're saying is we have some flex work. We want to practice flexibility, and leadership is going to have to exercise this. We're going to have to model that behavior and make sure that those meetings and those environments are inviting, just like we're trying to do with the flexibility for our students. So if you're in person or you're online, you're accessing the learning environment. You're getting the benefit of teaching and learning. You're not just a second row or backseat student. And again, Center for Teaching and Learning is doing a great job with the training to help us get there. We're going to have to do some other work for admin, staff, and faculty on the meeting and operations side, but I think that's a big part of it, and that will also help build comfort, so that people don't feel compelled to have to be here just to have to be here if they're not feeling well, or life has other plans at that moment, or they're driving a couple hours from Barrie to Owen Sound for a meeting, or vice versa. And so there's a sustainability part to all this too. So that it's exciting. Yeah. It's going to be different, but it's exciting. I truly believe that.
Yeah. And because leadership counts, I'm really kind of pleased to say the board's had 2 high flex board meetings. So if they want, they can come in person, and if they want, they can come remote. And in your world, this doesn't sound like a lot, but we had 2 breakout rooms, a breakout room for the people who were in the room, and a virtual breakout room. Somebody on the board said, "Oh, well, we won't have to be able to have small group discussions." And I said, "Oh yeah, we can make that. We can now make this work." And there's the piece to leadership that, what can leaders do? And then if I could just say one other thing, the first president that I really got close to, one day I was walking beside him and I said, "Well, what's the college going to do about this?" And he looked at me and he said, "MaryLynn, who do you think the college is?" Right? And he said, you're asking me that question because I'm president. This stuck with me all my life, right? So we're going to have to lead our own recovery to this as well. And that's pretty damn scary for someone who's about to retire. I'm going to tell you that, because I knew a way of life and adapted for 2 years, and now I'm going to have to create another way of life. And I'm sharing that because I think that if that gives you some strength to say, I have to lead my way through COVID now. It's time in some kind of way. So
yeah, I appreciate that a lot. I think it's a great sentiment, and it really aligns with a lot of the data out there about kind of the experts, organizational psychologists, and behavior specialists about kind of that slow and steady reintegration. And I like that you've both mentioned the idea of individual agency as well, and choosing what works for you. I think it allows folks to find that balance between this is kind of the recommendation or the directive from leadership, and I'm going to find a way to make it work for me within kind of that way. One of the articles that we read not too long ago was about talking about self-care not being a Band-Aid solution for overworking ourselves. And so it's that idea of, as you said, MaryLynn, defining boundaries and respecting those boundaries and finding a way to do it within kind of the larger picture of the college. Because I think that so often we're like, well, I'll go for a massage this week, or I'll go for a nice walk on Sunday. And we just use that as kind of the carrot at the end of the week to get to it. So I'll burn myself out all week knowing that I can go for a nice walk on Sunday. And that's not sustainable. That goes back to that thriving, surviving thing. So I think you've both touched really nicely on the idea that individuals have an opportunity to say, I'm slowly going to be reintegrating into this system, and what does it look like for me in alignment with what the college directives are as well. So I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am dreading this last one.
Yes, me too. So
I was really hoping you were going to keep talking.
Typically on the show, Sean Evans, the host, asks the participants to do a last dab. So he asks them to take a little bit of extra sauce and dab it. These wings do not need a last dab. These are saturated in the spiciest sauce. Yes. Okay. So this is the final wing. It's called Interviewing MaryLynn and Kevin and Eating Hot Wings, Nervous Inferno Sauce. Yes. So we'd like to invite you to dig in, and thank you both so much for humoring us with this ridiculous idea. As Kelly and I said when we first sat down, you're both great sports and we appreciate it so much. So now that your mouth is on fire and your brow is a bit sweaty, what we'd like to do is to ask you some lightning round questions. We're going to call them all spiced up. So I'll let you enjoy your wing for a minute, and then we'll move into our lightning round. I'm nervous. Look how much sauce is on here. Oh my goodness.
Hey, don't record that part like my tongue sticking out or something, because holy cow, that one's hot. Whoa.
Pretty good.
That's a good heat on
Yeah.
it. You know what? There's good heat. And then
Oh
there's,
my gosh.
Wow.
And there's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
That is good.
Can I just take the dish here with the lemon in it and drink that?
Just pour it over your
Oh my
head.
gosh.
Wow.
Chef Nick,
Mhm.
he really challenged us. Oh my gosh, it's hit my throat now.
All right, we need a total cleanup without being in the camera.
I know, eh? Can you zoom out a little? Yeah. Pan somewhere else? All right.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
This is probably the most entertaining part of the show.
Yeah.
Watching us all.
There's probably-
This is why everyone
Holy.
watched the previous 40 minutes, was just for this moment right here.
Get to this.
I had a little bite and I thought, oh, that's not hot. And then I had another one and I'm going to live to regret it.
Yeah.
It was.
Sneaks
It
up on
was.
you.
Is my face clear?
Your face is good. My lipstick is probably all gone and all over the place. All right.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with you, MaryLynn,
Okay.
and we're just going to ask you a question, and we just want you to throw the first thing
Okay.
out that comes to your head.
So it's like rapid fire. You ready?
All right.
Books or podcasts?
Books.
Okay, Kevin, what's one personal goal that you're working towards right now?
To find better work-life integration.
Excellent.
MaryLynn, last impulse buy.
A car.
Oh, we got to hear more about that in a minute.
Okay, Kevin, morning bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Okay.
MaryLynn, last song you listened to.
Oh, wow. Come back to me. Oh, because, you know, that's hard for me to say because
You can sing it. Do you want to just sing?
What do you listen to when you're driving your nice new car around?
No, I'm preparing to hike the El Camino. So I listen to music and I can't even remember the last song I listened to. Okay.
Fair. Kevin, I think I know the answer to this one, but Habs or Leafs?
Oh, Leafs. Leafs all the way. All the way.
Fingers crossed this year.
Yes.
Yes. All right, MaryLynn, current golf handicap.
Oh, not reportable.
Not on the charts. That would be mine.
That was
Yeah.
a great answer, by the way. I like that.
Okay, Kevin, what was the last book on your nightstand?
Oh, the last book on my nightstand. I have to think about that. You know what? I think it was actually the Book of Awesome
Okay,
because I read it again.
nice.
One of the ways I got through the pandemic. Think of positivity. Yeah.
Yeah, he was great, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
awesome. That was a
Very
couple
good.
years ago now.
Yeah.
All right, MaryLynn, best concert you've ever been to.
Oh, I like Elton John.
Oh,
I'm
that's a
sorry.
good one.
He's lovely.
You know, when he plays Rocket Man, you just sort of sit there and That's good.
Yes.
Very cool.
That's a wonderful one. Okay, last question. Kevin, favorite fictional character?
Favorite fictional character? That's an interesting question. Yeah.
Notice they didn't give these to us in
I-
advance.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go back to my my childhood for this, and it's Linus off Charlie Brown.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah.
So that's good.
All right, well, I think that brings us to the end. We got through all
That's great.
5
Very
wings.
good.
I'm not sure if my words are forming correctly because it's
We all
very
have
hot.
numb nose now.
Very hot right now, yes. But what a blast. You guys are great sports. What a lot of fun. We very much appreciate your open and authentic and honest answers and for putting up with us.
Yes. And big thanks as well to Chef Nick and his team, to Mick, Sue, and the entire team at TLC who have been fantastic and so accommodating. And thanks to Ryan and Liam from CTEL for doing all the behind the scenes work, and for Sarah Benoit as well for help with all the tech. And of course, a big thank you to you, Kelly.
And a big thank you to you, Kim. What a great pleasure. Although it's not podcasting, it's video. I guess we're pivoting.
Yes.
You said it this time.
Yeah, temporary.
And let me just say, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
I love whether it's podcast or this. I just think you're bringing out, the real spirit of our institution by reaching out to people. So congratulations.
Thank
you
you.
very
That
much.
means a lot to us.
And
Thank
you
you.
guys are both naturals. You are.
Aren't they?
You really are. You're absolutely natural at this.
Yeah.
It's
And
outstanding.
you didn't add goofball, so that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's really good. Okay, well, thank you so much.
all right.
Thank
And
you.
bye for now.
And bye for now.
Bye,
Yep.
all.
Everybody.
Bye.
Yay. Yay.